The sharp Boston air stung my face as I stepped out of the Uber in front of my grandmother's old brick house, the one that had witnessed generations of family gatherings and unspoken grudges. Grandma Dorothy stood on the porch, silver hair glowing in the late afternoon sun, her eyes narrowing the moment she realized I was alone. "Why did you come in an Uber?" she asked, confusion slicing through her voice. "Where's the SUV we bought you for your 25th birthday?" I froze mid-step, the question landing like a blow I hadn't seen coming. Before I could form a single thought, my mother Susan appeared behind her, that familiar polished smile already in place, the smile she wore whenever she'd crossed a line and convinced herself it was justified. "Her older sister needed the car more," she said lightly. "Nicole just started a new job, she's pregnant, and Kevin lost his job last month. They needed something reliable." The driveway went silent. Grandma's hand tightened on the porch railing, knuckles turning white while my heartbeat thundered in my ears. The SUV, the gift my grandparents had chosen registered in my name, meant for me, had existed all along, and I had never known. "What SUV?" I whispered, my voice barely holding together. Mom's smile flickered, then returned. "The one Grandma and Grandpa gave you, sweetheart. Don't tell me you forgot." I hadn't forgotten. I had been erased. My birthday 3 months earlier replayed in my mind, overtime cold takeout, a 4-minute phone call from Mom before she rushed off to help Nicole. No gift. No mention. Nothing. Grandma's expression hardened as she pulled out her phone. "I have your text, Susan," she said quietly. "The one where you told me Amanda picked up the car, cried, and drove it every day." She turned the screen toward her daughter. Mom's composure finally cracked. "The situation changed," she muttered. Grandma didn't hesitate. She pressed call. "I'm calling the lawyer." As the phone rang, standing there in the slanting sunlight, I felt years of silent resentment finally fracture. The storm I'd swallowed for decades had begun, and there was no turning back. If you've ever been the one constantly overlooked and pushed to the sidelines within your own family, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single twist in this story. Because what happened next turned everything upside down in ways no one could have imagined. We all stepped into the warm living room of the old brick house. The door clicked shut behind us, sealing in the tension that had followed from the porch. Grandma Dorothy moved straight to the center of the room, while Grandpa Harold settled into his leather armchair, arms crossed, eyes fixed on Mom. She sat on the edge of the sofa, hands clasped so tightly her knuckles turned pale, as if holding herself together by force. Grandma didn't sit. She faced Mom directly. "Susan, the registration papers were clear. The SUV was in Amanda's name. How did it end up with Nicole?" Mom exhaled slowly. "It was practical. Nicole's old car died the week after the ultrasound. Repairs would have cost hundreds she didn't have. I figured Amanda could manage, she always does." Grandpa Harold's voice cut in low and controlled. "You figured wrong. I filled out the forms myself at the dealership. I asked you to hand her the keys. You said she was thrilled." I stayed near the fireplace, arms folded, feeling the heat from the low flames against my back. The conversation was peeling back layers I had spent years ignoring. My mind drifted to high school Nicole signing up for weekly dance classes, while Mom told me the budget was too tight for the clarinet rental I needed for band. Nicole's closet overflowing with new outfits each fall, mine staying the same because you look fine in what you have. At 16, I started bagging groceries after school to cover my own supplies and clothes. The differences weren't accidents, they were choices. Then, a sharper memory surfaced. 2 years ago, Nicole posted a photo on Instagram, her sitting at her desk with a brand new silver laptop, open screen, glowing caption, "Best graduation gift ever from Grandma and Grandpa, feeling so blessed." I had double tapped it, left a heart emoji, even commented, "You deserve it." Now the image stung. That laptop was the graduation gift Grandma and Grandpa had sent money for specifically for me. Mom had said the package got lost. I accepted it. I always accepted the explanations. I looked at Mom. That laptop Nicole showed off online. That was supposed to be mine, wasn't it? Mom's eyes flicked to me then away. Amanda, things got complicated. Grandpa Harold stood up abruptly. Complicated? His voice rose, the calm cracking for the first time I could remember. I wired the money for both girls' graduation presents. Equal amounts. I called to confirm they arrived. You told me Amanda was over the moon with hers. He paced 2 steps, then stopped facing Mom fully. I let small things slide for years, birthday checks that never seemed to make it to Amanda holiday envelopes that vanished. I told myself it was family helping family, but I suspected something wasn't right. I stayed quiet to avoid conflict. That was my failure. The grandfather clock in the corner ticked steadily, the only sound for a long moment. Mom looked diminished on the sofa, shoulders hunched. Grandma Dorothy sat beside me, her hand resting lightly on my wrist. We're going through everything now. No more assumptions. I nodded, throat tight. The small dismissals I had brushed off as normal were lining up into something deliberate and sustained. Grandma pulled a small notebook from the side table and opened it. Let's list what we know for sure. Birthday checks from us, how many actually reached Amanda? Susan. Mom hesitated. A few were used for household things. Times were tight. Grandpa's jaw clenched. Household things that somehow always stretched further for Nicole. I spoke quietly. The laptop was $300. Birthday money added up, $500 one year, $200 another, holiday cash that disappeared. Even small amounts compound. Grandma jotted notes quickly. We kept records of the transfers. Bank statements will show the rest. Receipts too. Before Mom could respond, tires screeched sharply outside, the sound of brakes slammed hard. A silver sedan rocked to a stop in the driveway. The room went completely still. Every head turned toward the window. Nicole had arrived. A silver sedan pulled up sharply, brakes squealing. The driver's door flew open and Nicole stormed out, her pregnant belly straining against a fitted maternity top, face flushed red with fury. She marched up the walkway in quick, angry strides, heels striking the stone like accusations. Kevin's face filled the video call screen, propped on the dashboard, eyes wide and weary, the background showing their cluttered kitchen in Boston's South End. Nicole shoved through the front door without knocking. What the hell is this? Why is my car being towed right now? Grandma Dorothy stepped forward, voice calm but unyielding. It's not your car, Nicole. It was bought for Amanda. Your mother transferred it without permission. Nicole laughed bitterly. Mom said you and Grandpa wanted me to have it because of the baby. She said Amanda didn't need it. She's single, lives near the office, takes the bus. It made sense. Kevin's voice crackled over the speaker. Nicole, take a breath. The stress isn't good for the baby. We can figure this out. Grandma Dorothy ignored the phone. She picked up her cell and redialed the towing company. This is Dorothy Miller again. The black SUV, bring it straight back to my driveway. I'll be waiting outside. She ended the call and turned to Grandpa Harold. Harold grabbed the original title and registration from the study. We need them now. Grandpa nodded once and disappeared down the hallway. Nicole planted her feet. I've been driving it for months. It's parked in my driveway every night. Mom handled the paperwork. It's mine. I moved closer, keeping my tone even. Did it ever cross your mind to tell me the car existed, or ask if I minded Nicole whirled on me? Oh, spare me, Amanda. You're the entitled millennial who thinks living alone in your tiny apartment makes you superior. You don't have a baby on the way. You don't have a husband who just got laid off from the plant. You get by fine, always have. Meanwhile, I'm the one who actually needs help. Her words landed hard, but I didn't flinch. I get by because no one ever gave me the option to do anything else. You got the dance classes, the new clothes every season, the gifts that were supposed to be shared. I got told to figure it out. And when something was meant for me, it quietly ended up with you. You checked the registration yourself, you admitted it, but you stayed silent. You took it because it was convenient. That's not need. That's entitlement. Nicole's eyes flashed. I needed it. The baby needs a safe way to get to appointments. You wouldn't understand responsibility like that? Kevin cut in again from the phone. Nicole, the tow truck's already hooking it up. Maybe we should talk privately first. Outside, the flatbed truck rumbled louder as it positioned itself. Chains clinked against metal. The black SUV lifted slowly onto the bed tires, dangling. Grandpa Harold returned with the folder, flipping it open to the title page. He handed it to Grandma. She scanned it briefly, then held it up so Nicole could see. The title is still in Amanda's name. No transfer was authorized. The car belongs to her. Nicole's voice cracked. You're seriously going to take it from your pregnant granddaughter over a car? Grandma Dorothy met her gaze without wavering. I'm returning what was taken from my other granddaughter. Actions have consequences, Nicole. You've had plenty of chances to question this. You chose not to. The tow driver knocked on the doorframe. Ma'am, it's loaded. Where do you want it parked? Grandma pointed to the open space in the driveway. Right here. Unload it now. As the driver reversed and began lowering the SUV, Nicole stood rigid, watching every movement. Tears welled, but her jaw stayed set. The vehicle settled back onto the pavement with a soft thud gleaming under the afternoon light. With the SUV now back in the driveway, the real explosion was just beginning. The SUV sat gleaming outside as the conversation deepened. I couldn't hold back anymore. Let's talk about the college fund first. Grandma and Grandpa sent $17,000 over 6 years specifically for my education. Mom told me it dried up due to family bills. I ended up paying for every credit at community college out of my own paycheck, while Nicole got private tutors and summer programs without question. Grandma Dorothy opened the notebook wider. Grandpa Harold reached into the side table drawer and pulled out a thick stack of old bank statements, the edges curled from years in storage. He spread them on the coffee table. Here. Look at these deposits. Birthday checks from us made payable to Amanda Foster. Every one endorsed and deposited into Nicole's account. Not one made it to you. Mom's shoulders began to shake. I did what I thought was best. Nicole was always the one who struggled more. Amanda was strong, she handled things on her own. I kept listing. The great-grandmother's pearl necklace and earrings, family heirlooms meant to be split between us. They vanished from my jewelry box. Mom said they must have been misplaced. Nicole wore them to her wedding shower. Holiday envelopes, Christmas cash, Easter money never showed up for me. Nicole posted vacation photos from Florida, new dresses every season. I got told we were on a tight budget. Grandpa Harold pointed to a highlighted line on one statement. This check, $500 for your 21st birthday. Deposited the same day into Nicole's account. The pattern repeats for years. Mom finally broke. Tears streamed down her face as she leaned forward, voice cracking. I was trying to keep the family together. In America, we help the needy first. Nicole needed more. She had the baby coming, Kevin out of work. Amanda didn't need help, she was fine. I balanced things the best I could. The words twisted like a knife. She wasn't owning it. She was repackaging the betrayal as noble sacrifice, draping it in the same family values she'd used to justify everything. I stared at her. You didn't balance. You chose. You took from one child to give to the other and called it fairness. Grandma Dorothy closed the folder with a soft snap. Let's total it properly. $17,000 for the college fund. Birthday checks, $8,000 across the years. Holiday money, $5,000. The heirloom jewelry appraised at $10,000 minimum. The laptop, the car itself. It comes to around $40,000. Mom whispered, That's impossible. Grandpa Harold's voice was steel. It's not impossible. It's documented. And it ends today. The number landed heavy in the room, $40,000 siphoned away while I scraped by, worked doubles, and never complained. The air felt thicker, the silence louder. Every small slight I had swallowed over the years now had a price tag, and the sum was staggering. In that moment, I wondered if anyone had ever uncovered an amount like that redirected from them and still managed to forgive without resentment burning underneath. With the total tallied, the room exploded into full confrontation. Later that evening, we gathered again with Dad on speakerphone. The living room lamps cast a soft glow over the scattered papers on the coffee table, the air still thick from earlier revelations. Grandma Dorothy placed her phone in the middle of the group hit speaker and dialed. Dad picked up on the second ring, his voice coming through hesitant and tired. "I'm here. What's the update?" Grandpa Harold spoke without preamble. "Thomas, we've documented everything. $40,000 redirected. The estate changes are happening tonight. We're not waiting." Dad exhaled long and slow. I knew pieces of it. Emails from Susan over the years, mentions of adjusting gifts, shifting funds. I asked her about it a couple times. She always had an explanation. I backed off. I told myself it was better to avoid the fight than stir things up. Mom's head jerked toward the phone. "Thomas, you never said," Dad interrupted quietly. I should have. Staying quiet wasn't keeping peace. It was letting one daughter get everything while the other got nothing. That wasn't fair, and I enabled it. The words landed like stones in still water. No one spoke for a beat. I felt the shift, not rage, but a steady, unshakable certainty settling into place. Grandma Dorothy opened her tablet. "We've already coordinated with the attorney. Harold and I are restructuring the will now. Live reading of the draft via Zoom starting in a minute." She connected the call. The lawyer appeared on screen, suit, crisp voice, measured. "Good evening. Draft amendment to the Hayes estate plan. All future distributions bypass intermediaries. Direct educational trust established for Amanda Foster, full funding for bachelor's, master's certifications, whatever path she chooses. Prior intended gifts will be compensated through adjusted inheritance allocations. Nicole Hayes and Susan Foster retain standard shares, but discretionary transfers require verified documentation and mutual consent going forward." Nicole leaned forward, arms crossed over her belly. "You can't cut us out like this. Grace is coming in a few weeks. She'll need things: diapers, doctor, visits, a safe home." "This isn't right." Mom's voice broke. "Please, don't punish Nicole for what I did. She's about to be a mother. Think about the baby. Think about family." Grandma Dorothy looked at them both without blinking. "We are thinking about family. Amanda has carried more than her share for years. She deserves real support, not leftovers. And the baby will be fine if everyone starts making honest choices instead of taking what isn't theirs." I sat straighter. Shoulders relaxed for the first time in hours. The room no longer felt like a cage. The decisions unfolding weren't vengeance, they were correction, long overdue. Mom tried again, softer. "Amanda, you've always been the understanding one. Tell them this goes too far. We can work something out." I met her gaze evenly. "There's nothing left to work out. This is what should have happened a long time ago." Nicole's eyes filled. "So you're okay with them rewriting everything? Just like that?" The lawyer cleared his throat on screen. "The draft is prepared for electronic signatures. Objections can be filed in court, but the changes take effect immediately upon execution." Grandpa Harold signed first, thumb pressing firmly. Grandma Dorothy followed. They slid the tablet toward me. I added my acknowledgement, no claim to inheritance, yet just confirmation of the new direct trust in my name. My signature felt solid, final. Mom stared at the screen as the lawyer confirmed receipt. "It's done." Dad's voice came through one last time. "I'm sorry, Amanda. I failed you by staying silent. I won't do that again." The call ended. Silence settled, but it wasn't heavy anymore. It was clear. I felt empowered, not triumphant, but grounded, as if a weight I'd carried blindly had finally been lifted. I couldn't help but think, was changing the will the fairest form of revenge, or simply the only honest way to restore what had been broken? In the weeks following, my phone became a battlefield. Weeks following the confrontation, my phone buzzed nonstop. The first wave came from mom texts starting with, "I never meant to hurt you," and stretching into long paragraphs about how she only wanted to help the family. Nicole followed with ultrasound photos and captions like, "Thinking of you, Aunt Amanda, please. Forgive us." Then the fake apology landed in the Boston family Facebook group Mom's Post with a stock image of folded hands reading, "Sometimes love makes mistakes. I regret any pain caused. Family is everything. Praying for healing." Likes rolled in from aunts and cousins who knew nothing about the details. Comments poured out. "We all slip up, Susan. God forgives, and hugs to the whole family." I read them once and closed the app. The SUV sat in my apartment parking spot every night, a solid reminder that truth had finally won around. The educational trust from Grandma and Grandpa processed the initial funds quickly enough to enroll in an online hospitality management program starting that fall. I signed up immediately, diving into classes on revenue optimization and guest experience. The material felt familiar because I'd lived it every day at work. Dad called on the fifth day. His voice sounded smaller than usual. "Amanda, there's something I need to tell you. Your mom used part of the redirected money for a Florida trip last year. Nicole's graduation gift cash covered the hotel and flights. She called it family bonding time." I heard about it later but didn't say anything. I should have. The detail hit like a quiet punch. Not just the everyday diversions, but a whole vacation paid for with what was supposed to be mine. I listened without interrupting. When he finished, I said simply, "Thank you for telling me, Dad. But I'm finished with explanations." He paused. "I understand. I'm sorry." I ended the call and went straight to my settings. I blocked Mom's number, Nicole's, the family group chat, and even the extended relatives who'd chimed in on the Facebook post. The phone fell silent almost instantly. No more apologies. No more veiled guilt. Just peace. Work became my steady ground. The downtown office promoted me to senior coordinator after I resolved a major client scheduling conflict single-handedly. My manager pulled me aside in the break room. "You handle pressure like it's nothing. That kind of calm is rare." I thanked her, not mentioning how years of navigating family chaos had taught me to stay composed when everything else unraveled. The SUV shaved 20 minutes off my commute, giving me extra time to study between meetings. Hospitality law, customer relations, revenue forecasting, straight A's came easily. The trust covered tuition and books without question. For the first time, support arrived directly, no middleman, no redirection. Grandma Dorothy called once a week, her voice steady and warm. "Use the fund however you need. We're here." Grandpa Harold sent a short text, "Proud of you, keep building. No expectations, no strings, just genuine backing." I started sleeping through the night. The apartment felt less empty. I even bought a small plant for the windowsill, not as decoration, but as proof that things could grow when given the right conditions. Then the birth announcement came through a tense family group chat I hadn't deleted yet. 3 months later, the birth announcement arrived via social media. A newborn photo filled my screen. Grace Hayes wrapped in a soft pink blanket, eyes closed, tiny fist curled near her mouth. Nicole had posted it to the family group with a long caption, "Our little miracle is here." Grace Hayes, welcome to the world, hoping this precious moment brings healing and reminds us what family truly means. Aunt Amanda, we love you and miss you every day. For Grace's sake, please reach out. The post exploded with hearts and congratulations from relatives who still bought the public narrative of reconciliation. I stared at the image. Grace looked peaceful, untouched by the mess around her. But the caption turned innocence into another lever, guilt wrapped in baby pictures. My phone rang almost immediately, Nicole calling from a new number. I let it go to voicemail twice before answering the third time. Her voice came through tired and raw from labor. "Amanda, she's here. Grace is perfect. Please, can we talk? Just for a minute." For her. I kept my reply short. Congratulations on Grace. She's beautiful. But this doesn't change anything between us. Nicole's breathing caught. You're going to ignore your own niece over what happened. She didn't do anything wrong. It's not about Grace. It's about the pattern. The lies. The taking. I'm not stepping back into that. In the background, Kevin's voice rose sharp, frustrated. Nicole, we can't even afford the hospital bill without help. The car was the only reliable thing we had. Now look at us. A door slammed somewhere distant. Nicole whispered for him to stop, but the argument bled through anyway. Words about overdue notices rent pressure, the strain of no safety net. I spoke over it. That's not my burden to carry anymore. Take care of Grace. Goodbye. I hung up and blocked the new number. Then I went through every remaining contact, extended aunts, cousins, even the family group itself, and severed them all. The phone went quiet. No more notifications. No more pleas disguised as love. Grandma Dorothy called the following week, voice low and steady. The lawyer moved forward with small claims. Susan got the court summons yesterday, unauthorized transfer of property. She's fighting it, but the evidence is solid. The judge will decide soon. I exhaled slowly. Good. It had to be official. Whispers reached me through old co-workers who still knew mutual friends. Nicole and Kevin were unraveling fast, constant fights over money, Kevin's job search going nowhere, the loss of the SUV forcing them to rely on buses and ride shares with a newborn. Mom tried funneling what she could, but the court order froze any easy transfers. Their marriage cracked under the weight. Arguments turned into silences, silences into separate rooms. I didn't gloat. I didn't check their profiles or ask for updates. I simply chose distance. My days filled with purpose instead. Classes progressed smoothly, hospitality operations, strategic management grades high because the work felt meaningful. The office promotion came with more responsibility and a raise that covered rent comfortably. The SUV handled Boston winters without complaint, carrying me to early meetings and late study sessions. I started small routines that felt like freedom, morning runs along the Charles River, coffee with new co-workers who didn't know my family history, quiet evenings planning next semester's courses. The apartment gained life, a new bookshelf, plants on the windowsill, framed certificates from work trainings. The past stayed in the past. I focused on building forward. A year on, everything had changed for better and for worse. A year later, driving through Boston in my SUV, I reflected on it all. The city lights streaked past as I merged onto Storrow Drive, the Charles River dark and steady beside me. The SUV hummed smoothly under my hands, no more rattling bus rides, no more counting change for gas. It had become part of my routine, morning commutes to the office, weekend drives to the Cape. Quiet evenings parked outside my new condo in Cambridge. The vehicle wasn't just transportation anymore. It was proof that reclaiming what was mine had opened doors I hadn't even known existed. Grandma Dorothy kept me updated in short, matter-of-fact calls. Nicole and Kevin had applied for every assistance program available, WIC vouchers for formula, SNAP benefits, Section 8 waiting lists for affordable housing. Kevin's job hunt stalled after the plant closure. Entry-level positions paid less than unemployment, and the gap widened with a newborn. Their marriage frayed under the constant strain, loud arguments over bills, separate bedrooms for weeks at a time, then Kevin packing a bag and moving to his brother's couch. Divorce papers sat unsigned on their kitchen table, the final step delayed only by the cost of filing. The safety net Mom once provided had vanished, leaving them to face the reality they'd avoided for years. Mom's world shrank even more. The small claims judgment hit hard, full repayment ordered plus court fees. She paid in monthly installments that ate into her savings. The church group in Boston turned cold. Friends who once invited her to coffee stopped returning calls after the details spread. Extended relatives distanced themselves, too uncomfortable with the public record of the case. She deleted her Facebook account entirely after the apology post drew more questions than support. The woman who once orchestrated every family story now lived in the silence she had created. I didn't seek out these updates. Grandma shared only when I asked, and I asked less often. The distance felt necessary, not cruel. My own path widened. I graduated the online program with honors hospitality management degree, framed on my wall capstone project on sustainable operations, earning praise from professors who noted my practical edge. The office recognized the momentum operations manager, now leading a small team, salary covering mortgage payments on the condo and a modest emergency fund. I traveled for the first time short trips to New York for conferences, a weekend in Vermont, to see fall colors experiences funded by my own earnings, no guilt attached. The SUV carried me through it all, reliable and unassuming. I kept it clean, maintained a quiet symbol of the shift. No more waiting for permission or apologies, just forward motion. One afternoon, an anonymous email arrived from a distant cousin I hadn't spoken to since childhood. There was more money redirected, another 10,000 in checks and transfers you never received. Dates match old holidays. Thought you deserved to know. Scanned documents attached endorsements in Mom's handwriting, deposits into Nicole's account. I read the message twice. Then I deleted it, attachments and all. No response. No follow-up. Chasing additional proof would only drag me backward. I had enough evidence already, the court ruling, the repaid installments, the changed will. More would change nothing. I chose to focus on what came next. The next promotion review, the certification course I'd start in spring, the life I continued building without anyone else's shadow. Revenge isn't dramatic payback. It's living free from the weight of unfairness. Don't let favoritism destroy trust. Boundaries and self-reliance build a life worth having. I couldn't help but wonder what's the biggest lesson this story holds for you. Perhaps a boundary you once set to protect yourself. Thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos.